Hello.
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 Do we want to hold it?
Do you want to? Okay.
I was just like, no, it's behind us.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I don't know if you've noticed these tiny little mics. There are production quality going up, and
My
I'm gonna edit
goodness.
there too.
We have decorations. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to love. So we have an exciting video coming down the pipeline eventually someday.
one day.
when I finish the book.
But in the meantime,
We have books that we've all actually read already.
we have some shared loves.
And some movies that we've seen.
This is one. Everybody all together.
Oh,
Wait a sec. Reveal. What are you doing?
This is the book.
Okay.
I was being in it.
I'm sorry.
that says Emma. I don't know if you'll be able to see it at all, actually. I shouldn't be gesturing with the mic.
Thumbnail.
I just realized
Oh.
we're all looking at your phone. Is that okay if you're filming on the
Oh!
camera?
That's true. I think either is fine.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
We'll be able to get away with it, especially
Yeah.
now that we're speaking about it. Here, can you hold your book up, Athena, so we can
Thumbnail?
use a thumbnail? And I have been stealing stills for thumbnail.
Thumbnail?
Okay, success. We're all Emma fans. We're all Jane Austenites, one might say.
What are they called? Janeites?
Janeites.
What are they called?
Big
What are we
Jasna
called?
fans.
What are we called?
Big Jasna fans.
Oh my God.
I finally signed up. I'm a member of Jasna.
Oh my gosh, I need to do my sign up. We're gonna be in it, baby. It doesn't stop. We're
Doesn't
actually accredited Jane Austen scholars. We wrote the books. No.
We did write
But
the books.
I will say where we are, we have a wonderful Jane Austen
do.
special collection, and
Mhm.
we're living a dream life.
Yeah,
We are.
We're doing a wonderful job. That is why it's our job to educate you all on what you should think about Emma.
And if you disagree with us, you are wrong.
You should die.
Clap if you think they should suffer.
Yeah. Crickets if they shouldn't suffer.
No,
Is
cricket.
that
That's a
crickets?
cricket noise.
That's a cricket noise. It is a bed.
I'm
But
sorry.
then I don't want to have my legs crossed, but my legs aren't crossed.
Yeah, I think that's
okay.
cute.
I think that's
You can't see my
okay.
feet anyway.
Yeah. So you're not being a slut?
I keep my feet
I'm
hidden
gonna hate
for the
anyone
Lord.
to be a slut. You are.
You are no follow up.
3, 4,
No! I am one half master, one half
quarter
coon.
Obama was a mulatto. That's the one drop
You cannot be talking that close to the mic.
This is getting
It'd be
cut.
crunchy
You're
as
yelling
hell.
this part.
You're yelling
This
it
part
into
is
the
cut.
mic.
Okay.
Should we reintroduce that?
Yes.
Hi.
Thoughts.
We'd
The
love to
book
talk to you
Emma.
about Emma.
We
Yes.
would love to talk to you about Emma.
Mm-hmm. The wonderful, wonderful work.
I think our intro
Emma.
should be, I would love to speak to you, if I may, about this book.
If I may.
If
I'm sorry, I've laughed too much.
Laughed too close to the sun. So, I think Emma might have been one of the last. Stop it. Unacceptable behavior. Absolutely unacceptable.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Bring whimsy.
I think that Emma was one of the last Jane Austen books I read. I think I read Sense and Sensibility first,
Well, that's her first one.
and then Pride and Prejudice, obviously.
It's a classic.
I think I read Mansfield Park after that,
Okay.
and then Persuasion, and then the rest of them all blend together. But I think
There's only two more.
I know, but I think
not a big Northanger Abbey.
I know, because
or-
I do love Northanger Abbey. I just don't know.
Emma. Those are the only two.
Yes,
Yeah.
but she said the rest of them all blend together.
And that's just the only two.
Okay.
Okay.
My bad.
what I mean to say is that I think I read those ones sort of all at the same time,
Okay.
and then I didn't read Emma or Northanger Abbey until later, which is strange because I like Northanger Abbey maybe the best.
It's one of my favorites.
I'm
I think it's
spreading.
between that and Emma for me.
You are spreading your pussy out.
I read so Northanger Abbey was actually the first one I finished, but I
Really?
started Pride and Prejudice and then I stopped it. Then I read all of Northanger Abbey and I read all of Emma and then I went back to Pride and Prejudice. And I only really read Persuasion, like all of it, last summer.
Wow.
And I've never read Mansfield Park. You
Persuasion's a
can't
little
make me.
hard, but I like Persuasion. Mansfield Park is God. Who let her write that?
I've read all of the books multiple times.
If you like Mansfield Park, unsubscribe.
Is that to your aunts?
To Bethany. Bethany, the kindnesses you have wrought upon my life, the gratitude I have for you could not be stated. Unsubscribe for liking Mansfield Park. That's your biggest flaw.
Clap if you think she should unsubscribe. I've read all of the not the Pride and Prejudices. I've read all of the Jane Austen novels multiple times. There was a while where the only one that I had read was Pride and Prejudice, and then immediately I was gifted one of those complete sets, all of the novels, and then I read all of them in rapid succession. Maybe starting with Emma.
I know Emma's very close to your heart.
Emma's great.
So
Emma is
close
great.
to my heart. I love Emma.
Emma, yeah. Because I think, especially as a teenage girl, there's so many Austen heroines that I'm like, yeah, they're fun and relatable. Emma is so relatable because I'm like, you're such a bitch. And I, too, am such a bitch.
There's something so I'm doing a separate project unrelated to this about the movie Emma. And I was reading about adaptations. And there was a quote, and I can't remember who said it. But she was talking about how almost every Emma adaptation feels more modern just because the source material itself feels really modern even when you're reading it now. I think I agree with that.
Because you're like, she's just kind of a mean girl. And I love it.
Yeah.
She's to learn and grow.
The way
but not really.
that Emma is clever and fun and interesting, and Emma feels attainable because we're all able to make a silly little bitchy insult. But not everybody has enough actual wit to be Elizabeth Bennet, which makes her a little bit less. Everybody wants. I don't know about everybody. I don't necessarily want to be an Elizabeth, but you know what I mean.
But she's the most popular.
She's the most popular.
Because
everybody wants to be her. You don't have to be particularly learned to be an Emma Woodhouse.
Yes, I think part of the thing is too with Elizabeth. She's very often making the right decision. And yes, she gets a little bit got by Wickham, but it's like, how could she have known?
And it wasn't even her specifically.
Like, it's not really your fault. Everybody got by Wickham. If you didn't know his background, there was no way for you to know. I'm gesticulating so hard, and I have the mic in my hand. How dare you? Oh, okay. It's so close now. But with Emma, she's often making mistakes that I'm like, you had all the information. You chose to act like that, and that's on you. But that happens to the best of us. Yeah. Sometimes you think something is the right choice in the moment, and you come back to it and you go, damn, what was that for? What was all that about?
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Emma so relatable. Is like, I'm like, she's maybe one of the most flawed Austen heroines.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think so.
But she feels more human than some of the other ones, I think.
Love Emma so much. I'm a major bitch. That's my favorite thing about her. Because Elizabeth, the way that Elizabeth is also mean, many people are going, I would do that too. I would love to do that also. I'd love to, I don't know, curse out my boyfriend's aunt. I think Emma is mean to society. She's and mean at large.
Yes.
To poor people, to a girl who's done nothing but mind her business. And it feels funny. It feels funny to be like, yeah, I know she's 21. I was doing shit like that at 14 though. Or maybe I'm still doing shit like that. Maybe sometimes you're hateful, and that's okay.
Sometimes you are hateful. I was thinking, because you were talking about your project, the thing I wrote for that Pride and Prejudice class we all took a Pride and Prejudice class together.
We're those kind
of we met Celeste.
We are. I wrote an essay for a class about how round Jane Austen's characters are, and I was saying that Elizabeth is, of course, round.
Sorry.
Elizabeth is, of course, round, and you can put her into other situations. But when I think about how well you can adapt characters, which for me often has a lot to do with their roundness, Elizabeth, in the context of her own story, is sort of responsible, but she's actually kind of being irresponsible. Because she's like, I'm marrying for love. I don't care about the context of my social station. I'm not worried about what other people think of me, things like that. But whenever you're reading an adaptation, I feel they're always making her very responsible because the choices she makes, and especially the way she interacts with other people, are only acceptable if she's also being responsible in her own life. And I think what makes Emma fun and more round to me is that I'm like, no, she's fucking around in such a way you can put her in any situation, she's gonna fuck around the same way, and you're like, yeah, I bet she would act like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you would act like that.
She absolutely would.
With Elizabeth, I'm like, if you don't have privilege and the people in your life don't respect you, you cannot be behaving the way you're behaving. I'm like, even if Emma did not have all her riches, even if she had nothing, even if nobody liked her, she'd be fucking around like that.
Yeah.
She would be.
She would be fucking around.
She would be.
Even if she wasn't clever, handsome, and rich.
No.
And also, though, her being clever, handsome, and rich, I love that shit, too.
Yeah.
Jane Austen is really special to me because of I don't know how much I care about the tangent I'm about to go on. I'm gonna say it because this is a safe space. I feel like now in a lot of forms of fiction, a lot of our protagonists have to have something that they're on the outs about. Either they don't feel like they're pretty, or they don't feel fulfilled, or they've never had romance.
Relatable, yeah.
To be relatable. They've got to have something going on, kind of no matter what age. They need to feel marginalized in some way. Austen, while she does have many characters have something going on, every now and then she cranks out somebody who's got everything going right for them, except for themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's so fun because it's important to have media that like you can be like, maybe it's okay to make mistakes even if you don't have a clear reason for why you're allowed to morally be making mistakes, you know? Sometimes everything in your life is going to be going well, and maybe everybody loves and respects you, and maybe you've got everything you need, and you're still going to fuck around. That's okay. That's how I feel in college right now. Everything is going fine, but what if I'm still making mistakes?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
And I think that's everybody's right, and it's Emma's right for sure.
Do you remember when you were learning about writing stories as an elementary school child, or maybe middle school, and they were like, "This is rising action. Here's our plot, roller coaster, shit like that," and they were describing to you the types of conflict. They were being like man versus world, man versus self. I feel like I'm not getting a lot of man versus self unless it is men. I feel like women are facing a lot of man versus world, and I think Emma is really going through a man versus self that I'm like, I don't ever get to see this. It's so spectacular. Because yes, of course, in my real life, I am facing a little bit of man versus world, but I'm also like, I'm facing a lot of man versus self.
That's the big one. I think it's the
big one is man versus self. Why are you acting like that?
It's a more, like Celeste has been saying, my name is Nalani. That's Celeste.
I'm Athena.
It's more easily adaptable because you don't have to recreate the conditions of the world.
Yeah.
All you have to do is give me a vain bitch who has anything going
and
for
those
her.
Are ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous.
I mean, Clueless is such a popular movie, and it's one of those movies where not nobody, but a lot of people don't know it's based on Emma because it doesn't need to be tied to that source or that situation.
Even the wealth can be removed to an extent. Give us a pretty girl who is being nosy, who's being a little bit arrogant, who's maybe being a little mean, a little naive, a little short-sighted, and watch how she fucks around with the people around her. Because I guarantee that's happening with everybody. And you know what I mean? Like, wow. That's a wonderful book. Let's
discuss the movie.
Not necessarily the movie. I don't know, characters, big parts of the novel, anything.
We had a discussion about Mrs. Bates in this. We had a long discussion about Miss Bates because I was saying
one of the best characters in the book.
That I feel like I am Miss Bates, and I was being told that I shouldn't say that.
I think it's wrong. I think while Mrs. Bates is a fine person, Miss Bates is a fine person in general, and that's a part of the narrative, I think it implies that Celeste thinks that she is like a bumbling fool that only people are allowing to be around because we know that she's so good, kind-hearted, and has such a poor situation. Celeste is not a bumbling fool who's only tolerated. And also, this is the big thing to me. It really implies that you're deeply kind-hearted, and that's the reason people are around you. You're a finely hearted woman, but if you're like kindness and goodness and like general, Celeste has this thing where she's in a class with somebody and she has no idea. She's like, it is the default person things, the little gray silhouettes, everyone that she doesn't immediately interact with all
I know
the time.
them.
You know that Black Mirror episode where you're able to block people from your consciousness? That's what she's got going on.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I love when somebody, because sorry, we're just talking about Celeste now. That's okay.
Celeste is great. It's fun to
I
talk about.
love to be talking about Celeste. Great. I think that's fun. I think that's fun to have around and be like, maybe she doesn't know that I'm sitting here. I've been walking behind her for the past 5 minutes. She doesn't know.
Really close.
She's in here.
Walking really close.
She's got something in there. It's uninteresting to be a Miss Bates.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think I'm holding the mic too far from myself, and I think you're holding the mic way too close to your mouth.
But I want to bring it close for dramatic effect.
But it will crackle is what's gonna end up happening.
Crackle. Voice fry.
What is it? Snap, crackle, pop.
Ooh. Oh yeah, but I like Miss Bates anyway.
I do love Miss Bates. I understand all of these points. I will take them into my heart.
We like Mrs. Bates.
We like Miss Bates. I think Miss Bates is an especially good character to have in Emma because she's so inverse to Emma. She's sort of Emma's foil, except the foil is usually more similar in station to you, I would say.
Yeah.
And she's certainly not. It's very much if Emma had nothing and was nothing,
and
who would she be? If Emma was kind-hearted but had nothing, instead of being evil-hearted and having everything.
Yeah, if she still just loved to be talking to anyone about all of the things she wants to be going on. But nobody cared.
Nobody cares.
Oh, that's sad.
It is sad.
She's so sad.
She lives a sad little life, and Emma
but
is
she
such
has
a
her
bitch.
pride and joy, and that's Jane
She
Fairfax.
does.
And Jane Fairfax marries Rich at the end.
And I love Jane Fairfax.
Also, sorry, Celeste isn't Miss Bates because Celeste is a campus celebrity. Sorry, I wanted to say that
I
also.
don't think that's true.
I think it's kind of true.
I think it's pretty true.
Okay.
Sorry.
Riff raff.
Street raff. I don't buy that.
If they just look closer. We talked about
to live, otherwise we get along wrong.
I don't think I appreciated Jane Fairfax enough on my first read.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that, especially when you're younger.
Yes, I think I've come to appreciate her more. That's it.
I think that's good because Jane Fairfax, I think the older you get, the more you're like, oh God, Emma, you're so flawed. When you're young, it's like she's flawed, but she's exactly like me. And as you get older, you're like, I hope I'm not being that evil anymore. Because I'm like, Jane Fairfax really did nothing to you. She did nothing except for be lovely and a little bit poor. And that's it.
She was the same age.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that I am still that amount of evil as Emma. Only because
I think personally, I think we may be over exaggerating the amount of evil that's in Emma's heart. Because I don't think she's fundamentally evil.
No.
Yeah, in many ways,
but I think it's fun to say that she has an evil heart.
I think that's one of the most fun parts of the book is kind of slowly realizing more and more how much of a bad time Jane Fairfax is. Because you you hear about her and you're like, I don't know, this is just some girl. And we get her history and we're like, that's sad that she's an orphan, but she's loved by this family. And then you hear more and you think about her more and you're like, she's had this lifelong companion that's like a sister who's just married well, and you're about to drop in station in a way that means that it'll be hard for you to affiliate with them. Your parental figures are like, they're trying to get you out of what you believe to be your duty and obligation class-wise with your education. And
put that away. Stop it.
I'll be able to cut it because I wasn't talking. There's all of that stuff where it's like she's in there and she's kind of got this tragic thing, and so much of it is stuff that Emma wouldn't know or like really think about. And that's so true to what is happening in real life when you're being evil or diabolical towards somebody you only
That's what I was
know.
gonna say, is that I think when I'm saying I hope I'm not as evil as Emma anymore, I think it's the self-absorbedness of like, I wouldn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Of like, Jane Fairfax is going through something and some of that information just isn't available to me, but also some of that information is available to me, it's just not something I care to think about. I'm like, I hope I don't act like that anymore, but I know I do. Maybe I know I do.
I think for sure, if I was Emma, if I was handsome, clever, and rich, I would for sure hate Jane Fairfax with all of my heart. Because what do you mean? Because I do this already now, where I'm like, somebody out on the street, I'm like, you have my look, but you're doing it better.
Oh no!
You do that.
I do that. And I think that's what Emma's doing. She's like, you're my same age. Yes, you're poorer, but you are beautiful and you're well accomplished.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have your things going on, but it really infuriates me that you're beautiful and well accomplished and my same age, and I have to hear about you all the time.
That is upsetting. I think that's real.
Me with Celeste. Not true. Not true.
That's the pink.
Not true.
Oh,
But
just the pink.
it is about the pink. I'm like, oh. You see, she's got a bow in her head right now. You see how beautiful she looks? My knee is taped. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I think I'm having sort of the opposite experience, where rarely am I like someone's doing the same thing as me but better. I'm just like, you're doing something really different than me. It's really good. I could be doing that.
Okay.
I'm not.
I'm also having that experience
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, I think you guys are both really unique. I think that's what I'm hearing.
Aww.
I think that's really wonderful.
That makes me think of you know, in sibling rivalry. Are you sibling rivalry watchers?
I've seen the episodes you've showed me.
Okay. Every time Bob says something nice to Monet, she goes,
Oh,
Roberta! It gets me every time. Roberta!
That's sweet.
Okay. Any other characters?
I would love to talk about Frank Churchill.
I'm so sorry. Can I pretty please take time and create space?
Mhm.
You said Roberta. I was gonna go. What's a lengthened version of Celeste? Celestine. And you know what? That reminded me of the dumbass. Grandpa, why your fingers stuck like that? That's
Oh my
from
God.
pulling on that fucking knob.
Why
I don't understand.
Boys
what
are
that's
old. Celestine is like an old person
Okay,
name.
and then
Okay.
I see it. I see
To
it.
me, Celestine isn't a name. Celestina is a name, and it just makes me think about Russia. That's
You've
where
never
I'm
met. Oh, you're from. Okay.
I'm not familiar with
I
the
know a lot
Celestine.
of like old black Celestines.
Really?
I have
That's
a
really
great grandmother.
If
who
I'm
was
honest,
named
I'm not
Celestine.
interacting with a lot of old black people because
That's
I'm
why
not.
I was like,
I'm African American in the African and American sense, not in the
African American.
African of
Obama
America.
was
He's
a
a
mulatto. That's the one drop rule.
Can I talk about Frank Churchill?
Yes.
I think it's so fun how like feminine he is, and I think about it a lot.
Kitty cat, kitty cat.
Yeah,
kitty cat,
I'm
cunt.
like, he's really serving cunt in a way that nobody. I would
Yeah.
maybe say he's serving cunt in a similar way that Emma is, that no one else is really serving.
Yes,
that much
absolutely. I would agree with that a
Cunt. You
lot.
think no?
I don't think he's serving as much cunt.
No, not
No,
as
I know
much.
as much.
We said
Oh.
similar.
Yeah.
I think it's
My
definitely him, not him. It's definitely Emma, and then Frank, and then everybody else is below
Yeah.
them.
And I'm like, if I'm Emma, and I'm serving so much cunt, and I see a guy out there who's serving less cunt than me, but still a lot, I'd be like, yeah, actually, we belong together.
And you know what? That is exactly what she does. She goes, my mother's also dead. She goes, aren't we both like heiresses basically?
Yeah.
Oh, and we're so close in age. Maybe we should get together. And then they get together and she's like, I guess I must be in love. She doesn't know what love is. That's cool for her. I love those sections. Not important.
Yeah.
She goes, I guess this must be love. And then I love when old-timey Burks use the term flirting. I think it's great. When they're sitting up on that fucking picnic table going, ah!
Can I tell you, I was
They're
reading.
flirting. Sorry.
I'm taking a class about Turn of the Screw by Henry James, and in over winter break, I read Daisy Miller, which is also by Henry James, and he's just talking about how this girl is precocious and a little flirtatious. He's like, I didn't know American girls were behaving like this. She's such a coquette. And I was like, she's a what? It's a very exciting moment.
She's a what?
When I brought up coquette to Mary, that was the first thing that came to her mind, which I think is really
That's
fun.
nice.
Wow.
She's got Henry James on the mind.
Yeah, it's in there.
But yeah, I think Frank Churchill does serve an incredible amount of cunt. Unfortunately, I know he's like a fuckboy. I think him and Jane Fairfax's thing is kind of romantic.
I think it's really
sweet.
cute.
We have a
I think
sweet
it's really
engagement.
cute.
I think that's so cute. You need your money. I would so easily agree to that. I would be like,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
get your money, and then also we're secretly happily engaged, which means I get to go around behaving like a young unmarried woman, being so beautiful, and then at the end of it, I'm just already ready to be married.
But I'm like, I get to marry the hottest, most
Everybody
fashionable
wants you
guy.
so bad.
The only thing is that, like, she's really going through. This is something that I wish was in the movie. Because in the movies, they're not explaining as much of what she's got going on. So in the book, especially when you, like, on a reread, you can see that she's, like getting ill about all of the secrets she's keeping and the life she's leading, and she's like, are you fucking not even like, I don't even know if she really thinks that Frank is cheating on her, but she is like, you're behaving so fucked up, you're flirting with Emma so much, this is so immoral, like all of this. So I'm like, you're a little bit of a dickhead. I don't care though. I'm like, it's kind of cute. You got me a piano, baby. Yeah. And you let everybody think you're a silly little fop. Like that's because I think it's interesting. There's a grad student who came and spoke to our class about her research, and she was talking about how in a lot of modern adaptations, Frank gets turned into like a gay character because he's described as kind of like a dandy and like foppish and like silly and frivolous, which makes people think that he's like more effeminate. But it's interesting because in the book, that is a cover for him doing something romantic for the love interest. I still like him being gay, but I think it's sort of funny to be like, he keeps the reputation of being like really passionate and frivolous, even though that was a cover for him being romantically frivolous, which is hot.
Yeah, it is.
I think this is sort of what you were already saying. I said midway as you were speaking, and I was like, it doesn't actually make a lot of sense when I said yeah. But the reason is because you said what I was going to say, which is that I think in the movies, Jane Fairfax can't be going through it as badly because you don't really feel how much Frank is flirting. When you're reading the book, you're like, when you are in on the secret, you're like, oh, this was destroying her. You can't be acting like that about your poor sweet girl, your sweet little meow meow. No. You're cutting that.
No, I'm good.
I can't have that.
Sweet little meow meow.
Sweet little meow meow.
Sweet little meow meow. Sweet little meow meow.
No more poor little meow meow.
I was having one of those. You guys are aware of how gross people can talk when they're doing horny talk.
Yeah.
Sweet little meow meow. The way that I kept, I was having a bad time.
Just now? You were having a bad time just
that's
now?
why I was like, oh, and then I needed to share with you guys so you could understand
the pain.
Wow.
That I've gone through. Nobody understands. Yeah. This is
Nobody
destroying her. You can't be treating your poor little girlfriend like this.
Yeah.
We'll surely cut this out, but it's so strange. No, because I'm cutting this out, or you'll cut this out. You just want me to practice?
Yeah.
But it's so strange to see myself on camera because I'm shivering like that all the time. It's not a shiver. It's, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's upsetting me to see it happen in real time. And the funniest thing about me doing that is often I'll see someone looking at me and then like glance away like furtively when they watch me do it. Like they'll see me start to shiver and then look away immediately. And I'm like, are you upset?
No, they're like invading a moment.
Yeah, I'm like, what's happening to you? Because I don't know what it looks like. Well, I guess now I do. What it really looks like from an outside perspective. But I'm like, does it not just look like I'm shivering? Do you think I'm seizing and you're looking away? Is that what's happening?
Yes, they're going Tourette's. Especially on this campus.
Yeah.
Cut. Going Tourette's, especially on this campus, cannot stand.
I don't want any of that to stand.
Are there any other characters people want to
A lot of characters.
about? There's so many characters. I think the cast of Highbury is very fun. What are you gonna say?
I know we can get into it with the movie. I don't like what they did to Isabella though.
Yeah.
Isabella is a sweet, lovely,
okay. I was like, who the fuck is Isabella?
And then young woman. And they made her,
and I don't like the relationship either.
And there's a lot of beautiful love in Emma, and in the movie, a lot of it is kind of like
played for laughs.
It's played for laughs, or it's sort of like brushed over, which is allowed.
Also, by the way, when we're talking about the movie, we're talking about the 2020 version.
Yeah, none of that.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
None of that Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, none of that Kate Beckinsale.
None of it. None of it. Goop.
I there's a lot of actors that I'm like, I just haven't been seeing you in things, especially movie actors, because I don't watch a lot. For a long period of my life, I was really not watching movies. Kate Beckinsale, to me, exclusively Pete Davidson's
I knew you were gonna say that.
older girlfriend.
Yes.
One of the only things I would say that I actually know her for.
Well, she's in one of my favorite movies. Is the only reason I know her, which is Much Ado About Nothing, the Kenneth Branagh on Emma Thompson version.
I'm not watching Shakespeare adaptations.
The way you said "I," even though it's different language, different syllables, really reminded me so much of how you say "wet."
Wet.
Wet. Wet, monsieur. Wet. My neck.
Are you comfortable?
I'm so comfy,
Good,
actually.
glad.
You wouldn't believe how comfy I am. I'm happy for you.
I also, sorry, I'm going back to Emma for a second. I think
How dare you go back to the topic?
I mean, all of Austen's books are people talking about things and walking to places, and that's it. And
sometimes they kiss.
That's true.
What?
But
hope to die.
But I think Emma is really. I really love the world of Highbury, because I'm like, this is a small town. Everybody's talking about everybody, and everybody has their fun little quirks. Like, we have a rich guy here, but he's a hypochondriac. Like,
we have another rich guy, and he walks everywhere.
Yeah, what's that about? I think it's a really fun environment to set anything in, especially, I mean, I think this way when I'm reading modern romance novels set in the Regency-era, where I'm like, this is a really fun place to set it, because everybody's paying attention to the things everybody else is doing, and you have real stakes with reputation.
I do think part of the thing when people are like, Jane Austen novels are really well, and Regency-era romance novels are really well translated mostly into high school.
Yes, that's what
and
I'm
like,
talking
it's
about.
absolutely true. And I think also a small college campus where it's like, it has to be such a contained experience of, we don't live together. It's not like we're all related to one another or something.
You can still get
Sometimes
up
they
to
are.
stuff. Yeah.
But our community is so small and enclosed, and I'm really getting in your life, which is absolutely how I was acting in high school and still to this day in college. And if you go to this college, baby, I know so much about you, and I'm sure you know so much about me.
Celeste actually runs the Gopher Girl Confessions account.
Gopher Girl Confessions. It's me.
Baby, we know it all about you, baby.
That was really fun.
You have a large expanse.
Calling me fat.
Yeah.
Calling me fat. Celestine.
You know what's really bothering me?
What?
We'll be talking, I'll look up at the TV and I'll be like, that's Nick Cage.
What?
Did you see? He just went away, but he's the only guy who's been showing up. It's been How to Train Your Dragon and Nick Cage, and that's it. I promise you, I will point him out when he comes back.
For anyone wondering, last time we were like, oh, we keep looking out the window because people will walk past. And by the way, we have Roku City right behind the camera.
Roku City.
It's really drawing our attention. Excuse me. Keep your feet to yourself.
I'm gonna start putting emojis over them.
It's gonna be a lot of work for you. But if that's the lifestyle you'd like to lead,
maybe it will be.
Hiding your feet. If you want access to Nilani's feet, it's available for $15 a month at www.
You're right.
www.nickcage.com.
I'm trying to think of anything else that I want to talk about.
We haven't talked about Harriet yet.
Harriet
Tubman.
Harriet Tubman. Watch out, spider nigga.
Wow.
I know what you're talking about.
Wow. Obama was a mulatto. It's 8 p.m.
Fucking snarl in the woods. Did you see that?
What?
Samia said that they heard a fucking snarl in the woods.
Yeah, baby, you're outside. Baby, you're
We're
outside.
getting off topic.
Yeah, baby, we're outside.
I would love to talk about Harriet.
Harriet.
Tubman.
I would just like to say that I loved the casting of all of this, Emma, but I think Mia Goth was especially fun because she is so beautiful, but also you're like, I believe that you have something real interesting going on. I should be pitying you.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't have eyebrows. I can't trust that.
You don't have eyebrows.
And
I can't trust that. It's not what I was saying.
when she comes around and then like whatever makeup they've got her in, she starts looking disheveled and like poor. Like it's such an interesting contrast because she is such a beautiful woman. But next to Anya Taylor-Joy, they're like, Anya Taylor-Joy is going to have perfect, extremely smooth, tight skin. Mia Goth just sort of has, she's got something going, like, you could just, she looks like a real person still.
I think Mia Goth also has a really, not angular, but like sort of sculptural face, and especially before Anya Taylor-Joy's buccal fat removal, it really is drawing a contrast between I'm well-fed and rich and a young ingenue, and you're pretty, but you're none of the other things.
Yeah.
I really love a couple things that they do in the movie, because they really change Harriet's costumes around. They changed her neckline to be much lower as she's, spending more time with Emma. But also she starts, I really enjoyed this. She starts the movie with her hair up and just kind of back, and then she starts to get ringlets, like Emma's ringlets.
That's so
and so she ends with ringlets, which I think is cute and
it's
fun.
lovely.
Also, I really enjoy Harriet and Robert Martin. Another beautiful love story that I honestly think is a little bit, I think it's more romantic in the movie, because in the book, it's not as clear how old Robert Martin is. Like, he could just sort of be like more of an older man, which is technically fine, but Harriet's 17. And in the movie, you really feel like she's been thinking about Robert Martin kind of the whole time. And then it's kind of this beautiful, like, what's her name? Emma has to humble herself and bring Robert the little picture, and then maybe he comes to her again, as opposed to it being like, I don't know, like, they just happen to be at the same place and he just immediately proposed, and she, after not really having thought about him, says yes this time. I think in the books, I believe this doesn't happen in the movie. In the books, she's explicitly asked when Emma's feeling jealous about her liking Knightley. Emma goes, "You like Robert Martin, right?" And she goes, "Robert Martin? Who the fuck is that?" Like, she's like, "I don't give a fuck about that guy."
I see something. They also do that in Clueless, and do the thing that they also do in the Emma movie. Sorry, I can be clearer. And I just wanted to say it's super romantic in Emma. I feel like it's so romantic when he draws her the Martian.
Yeah.
I'm always rooting for them when I watch that movie, and that's all I was gonna say.
I had something I wanted to say about Emma's influence in Harriet's life, but before that, I would like to note that Milani is really playing footsie with me without my consent.
Do you have anything to say for yourself?
I will be filing a Title IX case.
Can't prove it.
It's true, it's off camera. You can't see anything. When I lift my feet.
My hair is stuck in your hair.
Aww.
That's what, do you see, what's that Dan Schneider was saying about,
Off to a horrible start.
He was like, what is it called? The documentary. He was like, I'm suing Quiet on Set. They used editing to make me look like a predator.
Yeah,
we're like, wow.
Stop it.
What editing did they use?
You do not have my consent.
Recording?
You do not have my consent.
Isn't there somebody else you forgot to ask?
Jesus.
It's the billboard of Art Donaldson. I'm a big Challengers fan. You guys don't even know it.
I haven't seen.
Love Mike Faced. But continue with what you were saying.
I think also part of the thing with Emma, you gotta stop. You're
really, I'm like, you're leaning on me, and I'm always
really harassing me.
I think you're doing something really interesting over there.
Just I think it's particularly relatable that Emma is, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. She's trying so hard to be like, Harriet, you're my little baby girl. I'm gonna take care of you. I am ruining your life. I'm ruining your life.
You should really get with this guy who's been following me around.
I think
it'd be really good for you.
Yes, it's very the blind leading the blind.
I know.
Yeah. It is very the blind leading the blind.
Emma.
Hello.
What can one say about Emma that has not already been said?
You want to say Mr. Knightley? Did we talk about him at all?
Not really.
Love Knightley. I
think they have one of the best relationships in any of the Jane Austen. Where I'm like, you are in a lot of in a lot of Jane Austen's other novels. I'm like, this is so one-sided and you barely see each other. In Emma, I'm like, y'all are going at it. You have such a relationship. There's so much to build on here. There's so much to love. There's so many interactions to be biting your teeth into.
And I was holding it because I was going to talk next. Yes, there's so much more proximity. They're neighbors. They've been intimately familiar for so long. They've got please. That is the worst part, is that they're like, not only are you guys like brother and sister-in-law, but yeah, since he knew you when you were a baby and he was 16 years old, and you guys have never had any other break-in interaction.
Oh, no.
I don't care though.
I don't care.
I don't
because
care.
It's so fun. It's like, it's just such a back and forth that in Austen, we were talking about this when we were watching Emma, where I was saying it's a common problem in animes and a lot of other male-centric media that people end up shipping male characters together. They end up idolizing or imagining these male romantic relationships because none of the women are fleshed out enough to be a viable romantic partner. You're like, this isn't a person. It's just a thing that exists. And I don't think it's that bad in most Austen novels, but sometimes I'm like, all of your friends are women. All of the people you have fun with are women. All of the people I'm interested in really hearing about are women. And then also a man speaks to you a few times and then you get married to him.
Random man.
Yes. In Emma, you're really like, this is somebody you have a close, fun relationship with that I can really see why you would like to be with them for the rest of your life.
And like, it's one of those things where in retrospect, like the first time it's happening, I'm not like, wow, what a romantic, interesting, fun moment for them or anything like that. My rereads of it, I'm always like, you slut. I'm always going, oh, you horny little bitch. Throughout, like, consistently. And in the movie, too, I'm like, y'all really had something going on. Her daddy's right there. What the fuck?
We were talking about this when we were watching. We were like, I can't imagine. It's so, 10 Things I Hate About You, where it's like, I can't imagine being around you guys while you're acting like this. Do not act like this around me. You're reading a poem out loud in our class. Keep that to yourself.
Keep that to
That's
yourself,
the energy I'm getting
actually.
from them. Where like,
why are you singing on the bleachers?
I'm like, don't be a freak. But at the same time, I also think in such a small community, I would love it.
Oh,
I'd be like, Emma hates Mr. Knightley. I wonder if anything will come of that.
Especially because by the end, I love this part at the end of the book where everybody's like, I would have picked better for Knightley. Not everybody. Mrs. Elton specifically is being a crazy hater. She's like, I would have picked better for him. Oh my gosh, we thought that he liked Jane Fairfax. Like, we thought blah, 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 blah. That's like, you hater ass bitches. Were you blind? You didn't see that they had that shit going on, bro? Oh my god. Get a room.
2 things.
ASMR.
2 things. I love something they do in Emma 2020, which is that they dress Knightley and Emma alike a lot of the time. He's wearing yellow jackets. She's wearing yellow jackets.
Yellow jackets.
Yes.
Yellow jackets.
When she wears that white dress at the dance, he's wearing a white and black ensemble. When they confess their love to each other, they're both wearing like green and grays. It's really lovely. But I was also just going to say that I think if we're talking about Jane Austen novels and we're talking about romance, because everybody's like, Jane Austen's novels are so romantic, but they're not always, not all the time. But Emma is so romantic. And I was going to say, I think Persuasion is my pick for most romantic just because of the birth thing.
The yearning.
Birth? The birth thing in Emma.
Yes.
That was a strange way of phrasing it. Just because of their almost sibling-like relationship, I think is
which is
it's sort of an uncle-y relationship.
Yeah. That's what I would say, because the age difference. I think it's uncle-y.
But I do think it's interesting because they kind of, you can tell that Jane Austen was kind of hand-waving it herself, because I do honestly think that what's her name, Isabella, and his brother John Knightley being married softens the uncle almost, only because then it's like, our 2 families had this thing going on, but it wasn't just like we're so close, we're cousins. You know,
Yes.
Because there's already romance.
Because there's already romance. It like weirds it in one direction, but also makes it
It's
a
also
little more okay in another.
She's written cousin romance though, to
Yeah.
be clear. It's not like she was like,
did
there's a
write cousin
problem.
romance.
She's like, they're not even blood related. It's fine.
Yeah.
You comfortable?
Hello.
Fully laying down. I think that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah. Boys in bars.
This is actually great. Sorry.
You're comfy? Because I'm actually very comfortable too.
I'm so comfy.
You can say it's just the way you are.
I can think of something to talk about. I just thought of something. Anyway, okay, you're right. I really enjoyed the music in the 2020 Emma.
Right before you say that, we had to take a quick break, and we have returned.
Notice anything different?
No, they don't.
I don't even know if I'm looking in the camera.
I can see still.
It's good. I don't think you should keep it on for too much longer because I do think you'll wreck your
It's beginning to
brain.
give me a headache.
Yeah.
It's beginning to look a
To look
lot
like Christmas everywhere you go.
But speaking of music, I really enjoyed the music in the movie because they took it. It wasn't exactly sea shanty, but it had the spirit of a sea shanty.
It really.
You don't think it was the spirit of a sea shanty?
I think it's just old timey. Like
I don't think it had the spirit of a
songs.
sea shanty in the sense of they sound the same, but it had the spirit of a sea shanty in that it really felt like something a community would be singing together, which I thought really added to what we were saying about it being a small community where we're really engaged with each other.
Yeah, because I'm like I
Your
think my
community's
two.
so tight.
Ooh.
Your tight little community.
Ooh.
You are sick.
Because I mean,
Snort into the mic.
Emma 2020 I think is my favorite adaptation of the book Emma. I have not seen the Gwyneth Paltrow one. I've seen parts of the Kate Beckinsale one as a preface. But I think Clueless is my other favorite. And I'm like, high school. You're set in a high school. That's
Great
small
music
community.
too.
Also great movie.
Great music.
We're the kids in America. Whoa. And then sorry.
So cute.
And then you got the small community that they fostered.
Yeah.
In Emma. Two mics.
Two
Two mics.
Two mics.
Two mics?
Thank you.
Why are there
more
multiple
cowbell.
Michaels? Michael.
Foo Fighters.
Fighters. For the rest of the podcast.
That was a really good Christopher Walken.
Was it?
I think it was pretty
I
good.
appreciate that.
Because I only know how to do Foo Fighters.
Foo
I don't know
Fighters.
anything else.
I think I think it is so funny. The plot of Emma, which is if I was Harriet Smith, I would be upset. What do you mean multiples of my little boo things? Please. Please, one little boo thing
it's three,
proposes
right?
to you.
It's
Yeah.
Robert Martin, and then it's
No,
Elton.
I'm specifically talking about them actually being interested in Emma and not Harriet. That would be what
so two of them.
yeah.
Because Robert Martin is not interested in
No, but if I'm Harriet, this is ruining my life.
Yeah.
She's only 17. I knew that you were amazing. You don't have to keep telling me that the man I thought I was in love with, who you told me.
I was gonna say, not even the man I thought was in love with me. The man you told me was in love with me, and that I was absolutely going to marry me, and that I should forego any other prospects because it was a certainty that he would marry me, wants to marry you.
And then right after that, I had a crush on somebody, and you go, actually, no, I'm marrying him.
He's the boy is mine. You send me away. You send Minette away.
Yet you kick me at
You
the
kick
football.
me out like the football. You send
Jail
me
for
out.
Emma. Jail
Like
for
this.
1,000 years.
Wow.
One
Cat
thing
podcast.
that I think is
Cat's trap.
I think we've talked a lot about Emma, and now I'm just gonna be comparing Emma the movie to the movie Clueless, which
Okay.
is neither of the book, but it's fine. One thing I think they do interesting in Clueless is they make
Reject modernity.
reject modernity.
Embrace
make-
tradition.
They make Mrs. Weston a really much more main character. I feel like in Clueless, which is Dion. And so I think that's a really fun thing to what?
She's Dion.
What's her name? Is
I don't think I realized
It's Sharon
that.
Dion, right?
That's my own fault. Yeah.
Okay. which I think is fun because I think in the book and also in the movie Emma, Mrs. Weston's around, but she's left the home. Like Emma's lonely, and that's why she's picked up Harriet to be her little buddy
off the street.
Yeah, literally out of the orphanage
by the scruff of her head.
Yeah, which so I think that's an interesting.
Little girl.
There's a lot of things Clueless does where they're like, we're changing the story in a big way, but we're still doing it. But
I think again that speaks to how well Emma's character and the plot of Emma really works as an adaptation. It's of the Jane Austen novels, to me, it is certainly the most
adaptable.
Not adaptable, universal.
Okay.
What if I learned how to beatbox?
What is it? Boots and cats and boots and I saw a little German boy one that was no, little German boy, don't go into the beatboxing cave. Oh my god, this cave is full of boots and katzen. Got me good.
Boots and katzen.
Boots and cats. Boots and cats. Boots and cats. Boots and cats. Just like Charlie Puth.
Oh, that's a terrible thing to be.
The great beatboxer, Charlie Puth.
It's a terrible
great beatboxer of our time.
You would not want to be Charlie Puth.
Who was it?
I confiscated the microphone and you gave it back. I've been holding it for a just to be clear.
I didn't want her to be left out. Thank you. What was it? There was something recently where it was some other kind of celebrity drama and Charlie Puth was dragged into it, and I can't remember what it was.
I don't know.
From the rap beef.
He was not in the rap beef. I know that.
Kendrick brought him up. Kendrick brought him up in the most recent rap beef.
And this is so not important.
They said, "Look at those twinkle toes."
Unlock your phone?
No.
What do you
We're
mean? I'm trying to
put the screen away. We're in the modern day, babe.
Reject
modernity,
embrace tradition. I just can't remember what that was.
It's because Charlie Puth is extremely unmemorable.
But the only part I remember about it is
Charlie Puth. Okay, I take it back.
So
I just realized I'm affecting your hair. No, it's fine.
That's okay.
My bow's really against the wall, and I think I might have to be rid of it.
No. Bows to the wall. Bows to the wall.
To the window.
Hose out, bows
out. To the wall.
Since we
Hose
started
out,
recording,
bows
we said that much.
No. We've spoken about Emma. We've spoken more about things that aren't Emma.
I think, honestly, this is going to be a short episode anyway. We've got what we need. This is for fun.
Yeah. But also, if you ever want to hear more about Jane Austen, I'm sure we would love to talk about her.
We would love to continue talking about Jane Austen adaptations. I think it'd be... I would love to... I know Emma isn't like a retelling, but we've been talking about Clueless. I would love to watch more things that are actually retellings rather than just
I think they can do some really fun things.
Yeah.
You can really build on the story, I think, in a way that you can't.
Do you know any beautiful retellings?
Well, I love beautiful women.
I love 10 Things I Hate About You, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Retelling.
How do you guys like The Taming of the Shrew in general?
Well, I've never read all of it. I've read pieces of it. Okay. Did you read all of it?
I did.
What did you think of it?
I know a little bit. I like it's fine. It's like both.
That's what I agree. I'm like, if I'm reading Shakespeare, I'm never going towards.
I love a Shakespearean comedy. I feel like it's not that funny.
I don't think it's that funny.
It's not that funny.
Yeah, he's got some funny ones, and that one isn't that.
What's the twin one?
The 12th Night, which is one of my favorites.
Great. 12th Night is great.
I like 12th Night.
Which
we
is
should watch
12th Night.
Yes, we should watch 12th Night and She's the Man and read 12th Night.
The amount of Shakespeare adaptations that are now teen.
I love A Midsummer's Night Dream.
I do love it.
Big fan.
Big fan.
Big wave.
I just Much Ado About Nothing is so close to my heart. I just really love that.
Any retellings?
No, but Joss Whedon did an adaptation that was set in modern day.
Anyone But You is technically a retelling.
Is it?
Of Much Ado About Nothing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh my god,
it is.
we should watch it.
This
is sick. I bet I would.
Even though I was on Twitter and every now and then I'm like, I understand class consciousness and all of that, and I understand that everybody feels this very specific way. I need you to relax.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're grafting complaints where I'm like, you just didn't watch the movie and that's okay. Because in the movie, the framing for it is that they're like, we're having a very, very close, intimate lesbian wedding in Australia, right? And it's loosely implied that like enough of them either live in Australia or go to Australia that this isn't that big of a deal for them. But there's like 6 people and like their parents who are all coming to Australia. And somebody's tweeting, I'm just only thinking about how unbelievably evil it is to be making people fly to Australia. I'm like, wow, it would be unbelievably evil, I guess, if you're like, I'm having a 400-person wedding with random cousins and random friends and coworkers, and I'm making you take your vacation time. It's only the most important people in this life. It's 6 of us. Just come to Australia and stay in a rich person's house. What?
Yeah.
What if you relax?
You have to watch Fire Island. It was so good. And I think we were talking about Fire Island. We were saying again, like with Emma and like with a lot of these Regency-era things. Sorry, let me throw some things. That it is so difficult to create that sense of a small community where we're all talking about each other. And Fire Island was like, we have to put them in an island to achieve this. And even still, they're like, there's just a lot of excess people who we're really not hearing about.
Yeah.
I would love to be like, I know that's what I was gonna make a joke and be like, Fire Island, that's just Rocky, but I don't know enough to say that. And just an island of gay people. We're just ignoring everybody else. It's okay. But I'd love to be on an island. I think that'd be cool. I'd love a small community. I think that'd also be silly. I'd love.
It's, you know what it is? It's the commune that's calling for all of us.
I think
so. No Fire Island and
no
undisclosed
we just have to buy our own. Well, this is the thing. You could easily fit like 6.
How would you guys feel on like having multiple people go in on like an Italian villa?
Oh,
good.
I'm
like
into
a timeshare, but it's like a villa. Like it's not a timeshare. It's like we all kind of own it. You know,
I saw something the other day.
I hear that Italy is wildly
I was
going
to say not Italy because I hate the country Italy.
I love Italy.
I think it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. I hate the men there and the women there. I think I hate Italian.
We're gonna have to cut this out.
I don't stand by that. I don't actually stand.
Italian people. She hates Irish people. She hates Catholics.
She doesn't like Jewish people.
She hates Jews. She hates gays. She's exactly like America in the 1910s.
Yes, I'm actually a descendant of Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
But I was seeing something that somebody said somewhere, and they were talking about the summer I turned pretty, and they're like, I need to go in on a house with my friends
in Maine.
No, not about the exact location, but just that I need to go I need to go in on a house with my friends so that we can meet up there every couple years.
And also I do mean that unironically.
I also mean it unironically. Okay.
I just every now and then it frequently is a thing where I'm like, yeah, we're friends, guys. You don't know that I'm gonna make this happen though. You know what I mean? You know what?
I really believe in your determination.
I'm like, y'all not hearing, and I'm like, shit is gonna happen. You're not hearing what this is saying.
I've lived in your house before, and you guys shared a dorm room.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready.
That's true. And now we live together.
Yeah, we live in an apartment together.
In this undisclosed secondary location.
That sounds like a kidnapping.
Frankly, the location is disclosed because we were talking about Gopher Confessions earlier.
It's gonna be blurred.
Did you know that Celeste actually runs that anonymous account?
It's me. I don't have Yik Yak, but I get my sources elsewhere.
Word of mouth.
Yeah. As I'm dead.
Are there any adaptations of the yellow wallpaper we can watch?
I will not. I think the yellow wallpaper would do something so evil.
Have you read it?
I know of it.
Mm.
I know.
I don't think it's as bad as people act.
I agree
like
with that
it is.
because I read it randomly one morning as a kid, and it did not fuck me up.
It's not scary. I think what's unsettling about it is how innocuous it is. It's a woman very slowly and subtly going crazy, but it's not like people are often being like, "This is the most horrifying."
Yeah. No, I'm not imagining like scary that way. I am the suddenly losing her mind. Because you know how I am. I'm like, am I having auditory hallucinations? I don't need an extra little. Maybe I'm slowly losing my mind, because then I will actually slowly lose my mind thinking about it.
I don't know any yellow wallpaper adaptations.
Truman Show.
Have you ever watched my podcast? I think it's a yellow wallpaper adaptation.
Just 3 women slowly losing their minds. That's what this is.
No, I have a secondary one. It's me in a room.
Live stream 24 hours a day.
24 hours. It's the Truman Show X yellow
What is that?
wallpaper.
Is that an episode of Psych? Sorry, there's an episode of Psych. It's the episode where the mystery one, the noir one.
Yes, and they go see the
and they
girl
go
who
see
does
a
performance
woman who
art.
does performance art where she just lives her life and people just watch her the entire
I love it, and I love that actress. I can't remember her name, but she's great.
She's the one from Garfunkel and Oates, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's great.
You know Garfunkel and Oates? I always know it because I was a big Brooklyn Nine-Nine head and the Swede.
Comment below. I don't know how clearly you can see this little painting. Which of us? Each of
I can't take it off.
Wow. One-handed.
There's one additional person. Which little guy do you think each of us is? Your answers will be graded.
Whoever gets it correct,
I'm realizing
you can join the podcast.
Yeah, true. Correct. I'm realizing that a lot of the things I added that were signatures were shoes, and they cannot see our shoes that we wear. No. They don't
in
see
our
our shoes in real life. So I was just like, there's some real obvious clues in there, but not if you don't know what shoes we wear.
Sorry.
Think of me.
I also think this is gonna be
Accusing to him.
1/4 mass.
Yeah, wait. I can just do it if I move.
Okay.
3/4 coon.
That's the opposite of what it is.
I know.
That's me.
3/4.
No.
Sorry, not beautiful.
Is this where you want this bow?
That's Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
Is this where you want this bow?
Sorry, I had to pull it out, and I was like, would it be fun if I just put it directly in the middle of my head?
You know, it's giving JoJo Siwa.
That was not
Karma's
good.
a bitch.
Karma's gonna
I
get you
should
for that.
have known
Karma's gonna
better.
fucking get you.
Karma.
JoJo Siwa.
Karma's a relaxing thought. Aren't you envious that
You know
for
that's
me
what she
it's
does.
not?
Yes. That was
Sweet like
beautiful.
honey. Karma's in it now.
I can't.
This is so gay, actually, guys. You're trading bows.
We're not trading anything.
I haven't given her a thing.
You gave her the glasses.
I never will. That's true.
Great.
Perfect. So horribly played.
Sweet like honey.
I do remember that.
Karma
Do we
is-
think Miss Piggy would like Taylor Swift?
Yes.
I think she would, but I also think she'd be kind of like Taylor Swift's a bitch, you know? I feel like she might be like Taylor Swift is
My rival.
a rival, a jealous thing.
A jealous thing. Something so evil. You're cutting my hair?
Cutting?
I heard a snap.
Athena's playing with the.
Oh.
Okay. How do we...
Can you do that into the
Yeah.
mic, please?
We're not gonna do clap slates anymore. We're just going.
How do you guys feel if we started a mukbang channel? Do you love that? Is that good for
when
you?
eat
Alright,
food?
all of this has
What
to
is
be
that?
cut. Yes.
Okay.
What do you mean all of this?
Mukbang.
Like a while.
Yes. Us biting into the mic.
Hasn't been a point about the movie or the book in quite a long
No.
What book? What movie?
What movie? What book?
Let's change the subject. I'm a big John Mulaney
You're
fan still.
my favorite subject. I'm a big John Mulaney fan.
Because I think there's something. I feel like a lot of comedians out there are like, I'm incredibly transphobic. I'm incredibly racist.
And he
And John
just
Mulaney's
like
like,
had a drug
I had a
bender and
drug
cheated on his
problem.
wife.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm like, that's something that is very
Personal.
personal
But
to you.
also, I literally just saw a thing of people being like, I can't believe he posted being like, thank you to whatever his girlfriend's name is.
Olivia Munn,
Oh,
who is
thank-
kind of a bitch.
Wait, but he was like, can't believe he said thank you to Olivia Munn for making him a dad when he very publicly was talking about how much he didn't want children. You understand the child is here, right?
Yeah, what's he
Do
supposed
you know what I
to
mean?
do?
You understand?
It's certainly possible they had no plan to have that child.
Yeah.
He did not mean to have that child. He did not want to have that child, but he's like, I have a son and I am going to raise him.
Like,
Because what would you
truly,
rather him do?
I know why everybody's like, he's betrayed Anna Marie Tindler, and that's like the vibe that she's giving off as well, which is like her right. But it's like one of those things where I'm like, if we add everything up, we know when he went to rehab.
Yeah.
We know about how pregnant she is. Feels like there's maybe some shit adding up. Feels like maybe him getting a random woman pregnant and cheating on his wife is what.
Not a random woman, a woman who had been very publicly interested in him while he was already married.
I didn't know
I
that.
wasn't
Oh,
aware
yeah.
that she was interested.
They were, Olivia Munn talked about it in several interviews where she was like, oh, I was obsessed with John Mulaney, and I had like this huge crush on him, and I would see them at parties, and I would be like, you know, like the freak girl being like, I just want to talk to him.
And now she had his child.
Like, truly, that might have been what, if I was his friend, if I was any of you guys' friends, we're
If
not
you
friends,
were
we're
yeah.
co-workers. If I was any of you guys' friends and you guys very abruptly stopped dating the person you were with, and then is like, she's younger too, right? Maybe she's not.
by much.
I don't know. Random girl, I've gotten her pregnant. I'd be like, wow. So there's a drug habit here, right? Like, you've got something going on.
Time?
I'm like, maybe it's time to go to intervention time.
Let me call Nick Kroll.
What do you do if you just called Natasha Lyonne? Is it half on Zoom?
Yes.
Wow.
He was like, half of them were like New Yorkers, and the other
Oh
half
yeah,
was in California.
yeah. I did know that. My bad.
Because you were there when we watched.
I was there. I have seen it.
It was great.
Yeah. I still like him.
The reason I was thinking about it is because he ate Jimmy Kimmel up so fucking bad.
Yes,
yeah,
what was
the
that? The
Oscars?
Oscars. He should host one of these years. I think it'd be fun.
I understand why he hasn't. I
I
don't
do
think he has a
understand why.
proclivity for improv.
You're right. I don't think he does. But I think there's something about his whole like,
going
I'm
on with
talking
you?
like old and transatlantic.
What?
Is that orange?
That is orange.
No, it's mucus. Oh.
I was just picking things off your face, and then I was like, what's happening here? You're shedding your
Orange?
monthly shed.
You're shedding orange.
They call that heat
kinda
where I
slay.
come from.
I don't want whatever the fuck you got going on.
The book! The book! No, rescue the book! It's underneath this leg, and I think it's in my rib. Okay.
Are you enjoying this content? You know, black people. I love that sound.
Obama was a mulatto.
We have to, okay.
Can't hear you.
Hi. Thank you so much for watching this podcast. As we said, this is the best best podcast in the world, or at least on this campus.
You know what, Mama? Where is the real video? And
Obama was a mulatto.
That's the one drop rule.